The Howard Stern Show.
So why did you go to Chicago to begin your comedy career? Like, to me, that would be I figured you'd move right out to L.A. or try something in New York.
Luckily I didn't, because I would have been lost.
Yeah. Why did you go to Chicago?
Well, I started doing improv at Boston College and started getting into that and loved improvising. And then so I heard about Second City.
Right.
And then this place called Improv Olympic, which ended up being really instrumental.
Improv Olympic?
Yeah. It's now called I.O., but it was the place where like Farley started and Mike Myers and Del Close ran the joint.
Did you know those guys from that whole scene?
I knew their work, and then when I got there, like Chris Farley was kind of the
god.
Senior. Yeah, he was leaving when I was getting there. In fact, we shared an apartment. Years later, I found out that we rented the same apartment.
Chris Farley was amazing, right? He could get a laugh.
He was amazing. And he had this really heartbreaking thing about him, which is he could never quite see how funny he was being. Like, he would kill, and then he would go backstage and then, like...
And ask everyone, was I funny? Was I funny?
Just, like, kick the wall.
I heard I forget who I had on the show, but they were talking about, they replaced Chris Farley at the improv group, and the guy said, I wish I could remember who it was. Oh, it was Seth Meyers. They asked him to do this sketch about being down on the at the river, living in a van.
Yeah.
And he goes, I couldn't do that. That was so Chris Farley doing it.
Oh, they wanted someone to do his...
Oh, it was Jeff Garland. It was Jeff Garland who did it.
Yeah.
That's who it was. Can you imagine?
Can you imagine doing someone else's character?
No.
Like somebody sitting in your seat and trying to do your bits?
But I guess you have to, I guess you have to give it your best shot when they tell you in an improv group to do that. But
yeah, and then when I arrived in Chicago, it was like loaded with talent. It was Amy Sedaris, Steve Carell, Steve Colbert were like at Second City, and Improv Olympic was...
Isn't that intimidating?
Andy Richter, Chris...
like, do you ever look back on those days and go, who the fuck did I think I was that I could throw in with those people?
Yeah, but I didn't think that. Like, it wasn't like I walked up and it was like, here we go. Like let me in, boys. I was just taking classes and...
Was that the move? You go to Chicago, you take classes at these improv things, and you start to kind of work in. And
you start like, I think I'm good at this. And then you find out, okay, I'm feeling better at this. And then you do shows, and then you find your tribe, you find your group. And you know, in my case, Tina and I met each other. And
that's where you met Tina.
Yeah, and then you just start performing with people that you like, and just years go by, and then suddenly you get a better slot in a show. And
Did you love Tina right away?
Yeah.
Did you guys like have instant chemistry?
Yeah. Well, yeah. We were put together by this woman, Sharna Halpern, who runs Improv Olympic, and she was like, I know a woman who, she's just like you. She has brown hair, but you guys should work together. And she just introduced us, and we were
And what does it mean to work
friends.
together? You would write sketches together and things?
Yeah, we were on an improv team together, so we would improvise together. And, you know, improvising together is like, once you do that with someone and you don't fail, like miserably, you love them. Because anytime someone doesn't bail on you in front of an audience, you love them.
By bail on you, you mean you could be up in front of an audience, you're improv, you're really truly improving, you're making it up as you go along, and things start to get quiet, and you could almost say, okay, that's it, fuck it.
Yeah, like if you look in your partner's eyes and that partner's like, oh man, this is going so bad. Like, what are we going to do together? Like, let's fail together. Like, we'll go down with this ship.
It's like being in battle with somebody and they've got your back.
And, you know, not having come from the world of stand-up, I always had other people on stage to succeed and fail with together. And when there was someone that blew you off or like just, you know, cut out of a scene or, you know, would bail, basically, you just never forgave them.
So is the great moment when they finally put you in one of these shows that they do, like you're a student, and then they say,
I
hey.
found the Upright Citizens Brigade. The UCB was this sketch group that was performing in Chicago at the time, and I joined them, and then my whole life changed.
Upright Citizens Brigade.
Yeah, UCB. We have theaters in New York and LA, and we had a sketch show on Comedy Central, and Matt Besser and Matt Walsh and Ian Roberts, these guys were like,
were you one of the founders of that group?
No, I kind of came in late. I was like the Ron Wood of that group.
Because now they're a big deal, the Upright. I mean, they have schools all over the country.
I started with them in Chicago. They were a few years in, and then we've all opened the theaters together. And
are there a lot of people who shouldn't be doing improv? Like, in other words, when you were in class, I mean, how do you know you're really funny? Because there's probably a lot of people who just aren't funny, and they somehow, I guess, you know, they're allowed to go. They pay their money and they go.
Well, you know, you kind of start with the basic tenets of it, right? We teach at UCB, and then there's a selection process eventually where you start to kind of like channel the people that are that are maybe getting it into a different, area.
Right.
And you don't take, we don't take people's money forever that aren't succeeding or,
right.
But
the idea is to
everybody does it for different reasons. But yeah, I do think that if you're talented, you just kind of rise.
You never wanted to do stand-up comedy. You wanted
I did it a little bit in Chicago.
You hated it?
I didn't hate it. I just was I didn't think I needed to work at it, and it's so much work, and I felt I got more satisfaction out of doing stuff in an ensemble with other people.
Sure.
But I remember one time in '96 I opened for Janine Garofalo at the Carolines. And I had material, and it was a little sketchy, I did some characters. It was okay, but I had such reverence for good stand-ups. I just knew it wasn't quite what I was good at.
The Howard Stern Show.